Now we're going to be looking at the advantages or pitfalls of each of the methods we talked about. So we're going to talk about the column method first. And these are the 5 questions we're looking to address right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. So for number 1, in the column method, 24 take away 16 or minus 16, you would write it in columns, so making sure the tens, first we put down the top number, make sure the tens line up and the ones line up, minus sign, so we know which operation we're doing. So we're subtracting 6 from 4. Again, we look and we don't have enough. 4 can't take away, so we borrow from the tens column. Have 8 left over. 1 minus 1 is 0. So our answer is 8. So this method works for the column method. So these values work for the column method. The goal here is to see if there's any that fall short. And the numbers I chose selectively because there are usually pitfalls in some of these methods. They work with one, don't seem to always work with all. So again, I'm setting it up. First number comes first, second number underneath. Again, this is 16 take away 24. So I look 6 take away 4. I can do that. 2, not a problem. 1 take away 2. If there was a value here, I could do it. That could borrow from. I can't borrow from 0. There's no hundreds. I can't borrow. So there is nothing I can do in this method. This method fails us. Let's look at the third question. So the third question was 748. Take away 54, so I have to make sure I'm writing it down. 54 is in the tens, and 4 is in the ones. So I go from the one side, 8 take away 4, works. 4 take away 5, I have to borrow, giving 600 here. 14 take away 5, 9. So I have 694. So our column method works here. Let's go to number 4. -4. What is that? Our number 4, just make sure. -7 take away number 4. I had a feeling that was not what I was looking at, sorry. So I'm -7, take away a +4. It's important to note that I'm taking away a +4. I'm not doing a different operation. I have a minus sign, but I have a +4 here. So if I want to line them up, -7, 4 underneath in the ones unit, I'm taking away. Here we get into a pitfall because more students will ignore this and say 7 minus 4 and get an answer of 3. This is wrong. That is not the accurate answer. The accurate answer in this case is 11. We'll see how we do that later, but clearly in this method, there is no way of doing that. You could potentially talk to students and say that we could rewrite -7 plus -4. But again, this is kind of seen as magic or memorizing a rule. Then students would be able to do this operation where they just simply add and keep the negatives. Okay, let's do number 5. Pardon my cough there. So number 5. So sorry, we determined so far we've got 2 that work and 2 that do not. And our last question was -4 take away -7. Oh, sorry, other way around, haha. -7 take away -4. I want to make sure we're consistent with which ones we're using. Oh, come on, my little eraser. Okay. -7 take away -4. So again, we'd have to write down the first number, take away the -4. Now, students would not know what to do with that. Got a negative on top, negative on the bottom, and another negative. Way too confusing. This one does not work. So unfortunately, for our column method, which works really well with large numbers, really well with numbers that are bigger than, like a bigger number taking away a smaller number, fails us once we start having smaller numbers taken away, removing from smaller numbers, that is, and fails us in our integers, so negative numbers. So this one only gets 2 out of 5 methods. Poor results.